Well, hey guys, I am back. And first video with the new knife ratings. You will have, at this point, already seen a knife ratings intro video to explain how they're going and what they are. But I have a box here, and listen, I got two identical boxes from Monthly Knife Club. So I just cut them open just to peek at the card so I know what we're dealing with, and I know that this is the Onyx. I don't know what the knife is or anything. We're going to be surprised. I just saw the card underneath. So we do have Monthly Knife Club Onyx for February, and I'm pretty excited. And we're getting a wonderful storm coming in. So I have the window open, so you might hear all sorts of wind and rain and thunder, and that's just fine with me. So let's get into the Monthly Knife Club Onyx box. This is as far as I saw. We've got a Fox Knives, not... Ooh. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background, but it makes me so happy. So we've got from Fox, the Wihongi. I don't know what the Wihongi is, but let's see. So N690, Bowler N690, Black G10, sheep's foot, Jared Wihongi, made in Italy, as Fox knives are. Let me show you the specs real quick so I don't have to type stuff, because I love it when I don't have to type stuff. I'm not going to lie. Price of the box, value that you'll find this knife for around the internet. Now, there always could be... Do you guys hear the rain? I hope you do. A map violator or a sale or something for a short time, but in general, this is what you'll find it for. So, let's see. I see reversible pocket clip, thumb studs. I'm gonna have kids outside playing, running in any minute now. We've got Fox stuff. They make it sharp. And Fox literature. I love that their pouches have little, like, so you can put your pouch on your belt and carry your knife in the pouch if you wanted, I guess. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, great pouch. Nice and padded, even has a separate little pocket in it. But oh no. It's another little guy. Oh, it's so little. And all I can think of is Moana when I look at this thing right off the bat. I have started to come to grips with little knives, but I still... This one won't give me as much trouble as others because it's not a frame lock. So my big hands won't accidentally kill it. There is some nice milling here. Very clear design, and then you've got textured G10 around it. It also somehow reminds me of a Spyderco. Maybe it's the wire clip. But it's good retention, but you can still, it won't shred your pocket up. Okay, I've never been a big fan of these wire clips because they do this. They do this. Okay, but it is reversible left or right, tip up, thumb studs. Fit and finish looks really good. Everything looks countersunk and even all around. All G10 pieces match. We've got the back spacers G10, not plastic, so we like that. Ooh, that is some nice action. And that is a nice blade. I like that blade shape. It's a very functional blade shape. It's got a cool, kind of a dark stonewash finish on it. That works. Got some good jimping on the lock. Could be a little easier to get on there, and this is all washers. This is not bearings, so this is the kind of thing that's going to break in and get easier to operate as it goes. It's not. It is a little drop shutty. You know, my KPL is buried here in model paints. I just had it next to me. It's in a box for safekeeping from myself. A little KPL will get this thing going, but you can see the action on it right now. While it has a little bit of, it doesn't stick. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's smooth, but a little bit tight. But you can see that the deployment action on it, flawless. It is a little bit small, And because it's small, and this is one of the issues I have, big hands with a little knife, is that it typically puts that clip right into the knuckle area there. So I have to feel it. There's not, for me, this is just a me problem. This is not a you problem. For me, it's a little hard to get a clip on a small knife in a comfortable position. So if I'm using this like throughout the day, long term is a relative thing right now, but long term, if I'm using it in the shop all day long, that's going to be a point of uncomfortability for me. If you have smaller hands to where this fits where it's supposed to right there, not going to be a problem for you. For me and other gorillas and big-handed people, this might be a problem. But I can see the functionality built into the design where it sits like it's supposed to in the palm of your hand. It's not going to bother you. You know what? I'm thinking of giant mouse, not fox. Never mind. I was going to mention about a non-rounded spine, but the action does as I'm using it, though. Just this little bit of use is really starting to loosen it up and break it in, and that's great. Great action, great snap, great thunder in the background. Love it. I'm not digging the giant fox logo on the blade, but stylistic choice on their part. I mean, it doesn't affect the knife, but it is eye-catching. You know, you pull it out and, hey, what you got there? People are going to look at it. The modified sheep's foot blade is one of my favorite blade styles, though, for all sorts of stuff. Because even though it's a small knife, this blade comes in contact with the ground easily. Maybe not so much if you fully wrap your knuckles around it, but if you hold it in a working style, you're going to get a lot of this blade in contact with the ground. So, oh, that is like a laser beam. Love that. Let's not skimp, right? Oh, that barely moved. A nice clean cut. And let's do the pull through. And no effort required whatsoever. And pew, pew, pew. Great. Yeah, I had no doubts that this thing would function beautifully. For an EDC knife, this would be a great choice. It's not going to carry heavy in your pocket. It's got a little bit of weight to it. What do they say the weight is on this thing? 3.17 ounces. Yeah. It's not going to carry very heavy in your pocket. It's not going to take up a lot of room. Weight in your hand, weight and balance is very nice. I think it's a great choice for EDC. It's just a little small in my hands. I'll try not to let that, affect actual ratings on it. All right, so I took a few minutes to do the ratings and then to just look this knife up on the internet, just a little bit of knowledge about it, as I went through this. So we're going to start at the top, quality of materials. I gave it a 7. Clearly, it's above average as far as the blade steel goes. And Fox Knives usually gives you pretty good quality materials. G10 is a very good, now it's kind of an industry average as knife handles go, but there's still a lot of companies that would give you some crap. So yeah, 7, above average, not stellar, but still pretty good, well-assembled knife. For fit and finish, I had to give it a 10. There's nothing I can find on here that is not perfected. Fox Knives, the way they put together stuff, is top of the line. So there's nothing on here that's not great. It got max score on that. For comfort and feel, taking myself out of the equation, but just in terms of the design and the way it fits, I gave it an 8. I had to take a couple points away because there are big-handed people in the world that might want to use this knife, not just me. So, it's not comfortable for everybody. It's comfortable for most people. So, I can see how they built that in for the average golem hand. But I did take a couple points off just because it's not going to just fit nicely into everybody's hand. When you have a bigger handle, smaller hand people can also use it comfortably usually. But when you just have this tinier handle, it does count some people out. For function and mechanics, I gave it a 9. And the only reason I took 1 point off is for, these wire clips, they wiggle. They wiggle a lot, and they can start rubbing around, and they can get loose. I understand why companies use them. They're cool looking. They're less weight. A lot of times they use 1 screw instead of 2. But the mechanics of this clip being able to wiggle around, I just not a big fan. I feel like they're I don't know. I'm not saying I know better than companies that have been doing this for decades, but I get a weird feeling about that. So I took 1 point off for that. Production and out of the box standards, obviously this thing gets a 10. The functionality of the pivot and everything is super. The blade comes out of the box like a lightsaber. This thing is absolutely amazing. So full points there. For practicality and utility, though, I had to give it an average score of 5. You may want to use it for EDC. You may want to use it for something else. I mean, the blade being sharp as hell is one thing, but there's a lot of tasks this is going to be great for. There's a lot of tasks this is not going to be great for, and I can't speak to every user and what they might want to do with it. I can think of my average EDC throughout the day at work, and like I said, there's a lot of things this will be great for, and a lot of things I'm just not going to be able to maneuver it around for. With a slightly larger blade, maybe, but and it would still be EDC friendly with a slightly larger blade. You know what I mean? But so it is average in terms of the practicality and utility of it. It doesn't take away from what it can do, but it could do a little bit more, with a couple little changes. For ease of maintenance, I gave it an 8, and here is why. These clips can be tricky, especially if you don't have experience. As soon as you take them out of these little channels, they widen up, they pop out, and a lot of times you have to get the screw inside and do some wiggling and hold it down, and it can be tricky for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. That's why. So if you have to move it around and change it around, and especially with a brand new knife, taking it apart and getting it tensioned just right as it breaks in, again, can be a little bit tricky. You can tell these are finely tuned washers, and it can be a little bit pain in the ass, take it apart, put it back together if somebody's into that. And N690, again, great steel, holds an edge really well. If you don't know the finer points of sharpening and you're trying to refresh this edge, you might have a little trouble. You might. But it should not be a problem for anybody that's got a little bit of skill and practiced a little bit. But yeah, I think 8's a respectable number, though, for the ease of maintenance. For the cool factor, I dropped it back down a little bit to 6. And here's why. Some people might think this is super cool. Some people might not want that big billboarding on their blade. I think it's got a nice shape to it. I think I come down on the fence on this. It could look very plain. It could look a little over the top. I think it is eye-catching, but is it going to look cool, or is it going to look a little cringy with that big print on the blade? I don't know, but it's definitely better than average. It's definitely not a gas station knife, not at all. For collectability value, I left it right at average. The fact that it's a Fox Knives, that it's a cool collaboration between Fox and Wihongi, and it's got the Wihongi style with the Fox Knives, stuff in it. That definitely gives it something. But it is full production. It's not limited edition. It's not limited run. It's not numbered. Nothing like that. Makes it sort of just a production knife. So, is this going to be worth a lot of money in the future? I don't think so. But those who are fans, particularly of Fox or Wihongi, definitely will find a little extra value in this. For the final value to price ratio, and remember, this applies to the knife, not Monthly Knife Club, not the Onyx subscription. We're just talking about the knife. Went with a 6.5. It is very good materials. It is very well put together and everything. But at the actual cost of the knife, whether you're the low end of $149, not talking about the box cost of $119. That's the whole point of the box, to get it for cheaper. But for the cost around the internet, $149 or to $199. $199 is probably Fox Knives MSRP. I just feel like, if we were getting, like a super steel, at least, on the blade, or it would be higher, but it's a little better than average, I think, knife for the money, but it's a very small knife. It's very EDC size, maybe a little smaller than normal EDC for me, anyway, in my taste. I couldn't give it much higher. I gave it a 1.5 points over average for the value. And that's personalized. That could vary. Somebody watching this could be like, that's crazy. I think the money is well worth it for this, for what for what they're planning on using for it. That's fine. You don't have to agree. It's just what I think of in terms of the price. $149 for an N690 blade, and yeah, they did some great milling work on the G10, but it really, at the end, it is just a G10 blade with inset liners. I mean, a G10 handle with inset liners. So, little knife for 149. So overall, out of a possible 100, 74.5, which I think is really respectable. I think that's really good, especially for our first knife in the new rating system. That's at almost 75, hitting 75% of the whole scale. And then the average score, so the overall total score, 74.5, the average score is a 7.45. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I guess the ultimate question is, would I carry this? Yes, I will carry it, even though there's some elements to it that I'm not a big fan of. I will carry it, and I will try it out. And I'll give it a chance in my pocket and give it a chance in the shop. Best case scenario, I fall in love with it, and I want to carry it all the time. Worst case scenario, it's in a collection, or I'm sure I know somebody that I can trade this, it becomes trade bait for something that is a little bit more suitable to my needs. It definitely has value, is the thing. It has value, whether you're going to carry it or you're going to trade it. I see that as it breaks in a little bit, getting a little bit of side-to-side play, and seems just the tiniest bit off center, and that's not uncommon. A lot of times as the knife breaks in, you might need to adjust your pivot a little bit. Not a big deal, but the action is still very crisp, and it just feels really good. So there we go. First knife, new rating system. Nice knife from Monthly Knife Club. I've cursed with these ridiculous hands, and I hate them. But what do you guys think of the knife? Something you would carry? Something you like? Maybe we can, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of giant billboarding on blades, personally, but I do like the swirl on the handle. It looks kind of cool, and it gives you some nice grip surface on there, too. So what do you guys think? Something you would buy? Something you would like to carry? Let me know your thoughts. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'd love to discuss this with you in the comments. And remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.